What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about the rapper Saweetie and some of the conversations that have been revolving around her relating to her performances, people accusing her of, benefiting from pretty privilege and light skin privilege. I'm going to explore these topics and give my thoughts and perspectives on them as well, and just let you know what I think about all this. So before I begin, I do want to give a quick disclaimer that, I don't have anything against Saweetie. I'm just giving my commentary on a trending topic. So, just in case, some super Saweetie stan comes in, this isn't me trying to come at Saweetie. I have no personal beef against Saweetie. All right, so as I mentioned before, Saweetie, she has been receiving criticism very recently for lackluster live performances and for her booty not having that jiggle jiggle. No Laffy Taffy. Seriously, y'all? Yeah, seriously though. Part of the criticism, but mainly more so just the lackluster live performances. And in these conversations, people have said and brought up pretty privilege. And for me, the question is, is Saweetie pretty? Is Saweetie hot or not? And I think Saweetie has her good moments and her not so good moments when it comes to her looks, right? But I'll say, I did do a Google image search of her name, and it did bring up some nice looking pictures. More so than the not so nice looking pictures. And you probably may not have heard, but relationship guru Kevin Samuels, aka K-Sam, said that Saweetie was an adjustable 6. He said she's cute, but if she tightens up, she could be pretty. Well, if K-Sam said it, then it must be true, right? But Saweetie, she has recently shaved, and I think it may be somewhat of a criticism. Well, it may be a response to some of the criticism she has received in regards to being a beneficiary of pretty privilege. And just want to show, hey, I can, go against, that glamour type of look, or that ghetto fabulous glamour type of look, and still win. Or maybe she just wanted to go natural or just change things up. Maybe. But Saweetie was nominated for a Grammy, actually, for Best New Artist. And some people kind of took some issues with that. And were like, oh, really? Best New Artist? All right. Interesting. But people have also accused Saweetie of benefiting from light skin privilege. Is Saweetie a beneficiary of light skin privilege / colorism? Because this is what it ultimately boils down to. In short, yes. But, so is Beyonce, right? And we know how talented and hardworking Beyonce is. So just by default, she is a beneficiary of pretty privilege, of both pretty privilege and light skin privilege, because of the way that, the system is set up. But, the pretty privilege and light skin privilege is only going to get her so far. She can only ride that wave, but for so long. And I feel like that wave could be coming to an end as we speak. But within this colorism talk, the light skin privilege talk in this conversation, people have brought up the question, could a darker skinned black woman get away with lackluster performances like Saweetie and still be given opportunities? And this question, of course, has been asked quite a bit. People have been in their feelings about this question because they feel as if Saweetie is not deserving of so many chances and that she's only getting those chances because of, light skin privilege and perhaps pretty privilege mixed in with that. And personally, I do think that there is, some bias involved, perhaps when it comes to the light skin and pretty privilege and whatnot. But she's not the only person that has been given chances. And, we're speaking about this situation in regards to darker skinned black women. So I'll bring up a couple of examples of this. The City Girls, aka the City Rats. People have criticized their live performances and, their lyricism and just them in general. But, people still check for them. Oddly enough, both of them have been accused, or rather, scratch that, there's no accusations. Both of them have been on record as having said colorist comments about darker skinned people. I just want to put that in there too. Another person who comes to mind is Summer Walker. People have criticized her live performances, and she has even canceled an entire tour. Summer Walker, to be fair, she says that she does suffer from social anxiety. I don't know if she has an official diagnosis of this or is she just diagnosed this herself or whatever. Again, not saying that it can't be true even if it's not official, but I'm just saying. But people still check for her, and she recently had a #1 album. I'm not sure if it's still #1, but her album did debut at #1 recently. And people, another person that brings up, this is a bit of an honorable mention. I don't really think this person is quite in the same boat as these other people, but I'm going to bring this up anyway. And I'm going to bring up, y'all favorite, chocolate covered sister, Normani. People criticize her for making her fans wait so long for new songs and new material. But people still going hard in the paint for Normani. People still rooting for Normani. People still hoping that she can take it all the way and become the next big thing in music. And on the flip side of this, we have Queen Naija, who's biracial. Her music career hasn't really been popping in a while. And she's had some lackluster performances too, and it looks like people have just moved on from her. Ella Mai, y'all remember Ella Mai? But, folks have seemingly moved on from her too for one reason or another. Janae Aiko, I'm not sure if she, I do hear her songs, or at least some of her songs on the radio, but it seems like she has sort of been stagnant, perhaps. Maybe I'm missing something. I could just be missing something. Y'all let me know about, Janae Aiko's career status in the music industry. Tiana Taylor, is she considered light skinned? I feel like I've been seeing photos of her recently and she's been very light. But I feel like when I first saw her on My Super Sweet 16, she was darker. But maybe I'm missing something. But if she's a light skinned woman now, or has always been, she seemingly has not been benefiting. She said that she's basically given up her rap career, I believe. So I just say all that to say that not to take away from the pervasiveness of colorism and light skin privilege or anything like that, but to say that it's light skin privilege can be a factor and often is a factor, but there's also other factors involved in it too. It's not just that. And when it comes to Saweetie in her situation, I think that she has good marketing skills, as a lot of people have mentioned. And also, more importantly, I think she has good industry connections. Like she has family members in the industry. That definitely helps. Um, Her industry connection with Doja Cat helped her get a hit song with Best Friend. Her being associated with Quavo also helped out a lot. And really, to keep it all the way real, her career hasn't been right ever since she left him. And this is a sidebar, but this is part of the reason why I think Cardi B won't leave Offset. Because she knows that her rap career is going to be basura tostada if she does not have that association with Offset to lean on. She's going to be out here looking like Saweetie if she leave Offset. So she going to hang around for a while. She going to hang around. I mean, at one point, it's probably going to come to an end, right? Everything that has a beginning has an end. But also, low key, Beyonce too. If Beyonce leaves Jay-Z, her career is going to take a hit. The community is going to turn on her. Although I think Beyonce's career could survive. I think Beyonce, I feel like she could survive that. But she's going to take a hit though. And also just in general, I do think that people are rooting for Saweetie to win. And, she does seem like a nice, down-to-earth type of chick, which she should be, especially if she's going to be mediocre. Like, you can't be attitudinal and mediocre. You got to pick one or the other. You can't be both and have people, expect people to root for you. So, just like people are rooting for Normani, there are people rooting for Saweetie. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think some people may feel like, oh, Normani is more deserving of it because they feel like her talent is further along and more developed than Saweetie's talent, in which that could be like a possible criticism. But, when it comes to the music industry, a lot of times the most talented person does not win, right? The most talented person does not get to the top of the charts all the time, right? The most talented person's song does not play on radio, right? Unfortunately, that is the case. And there's a lot of factors that go into all of that. Yeah. Another critique that people may have of Saweetie is that, she may seem a little superficial. Perhaps, she'll mature out of that. But on the other hand, maybe it's just part of her like rap persona. Materialism and superficiality are commonplace in rap music. I remember when people criticized her back when she was with Quavo for saying like basically like if he can't buy you a Birkin, then you need to send that in back to the streets. And, in the community, both black men and black women were coming at her for that comment. Personally, I took it as a joke. I didn't take it much to heart. But, a hit dog a holler. To be real, like I can't afford to buy, a Birkin for a woman. Keeping it all the way real. But I wasn't offended by it because I just took it as a joke. But some people were offended, both black men and black women. Black men are being offended because they like thinking that they can't afford Saweetie. And some black women offended because they feel like, oh, Saweetie's stunting on us, saying that, oh, she can get a man that can buy a Birkin and she thinks she's better than us. I guess Saweetie can't have her preferences, right? Even though Saweetie is a preference herself, the preferences can't have preferences that are outside of what preferences are expected to have, right? But before I go and end this video, I do want to speak on this whole situation that people were, criticizing Saweetie about, which was her, doing a heel click and, her booty malfunctioning, as they say, and not shaking and jiggling, no Laffy Taffy. And it's like, what's up? Where the Laffy Taffy at? Sweetie, what's up with that? And, you know, did Sweetie get a BBL? In my opinion, yes. And that's okay. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I think she may have maybe overdid it just a little bit, though. I think she probably should have went for more of a natural look to make it seem like, oh, I was just eating good, y'all. That's all I've been eating, my cornbread and collard green. That's why I got all this extra thickness now. But did it malfunction? I don't think so. Technically, I don't think it functioned if it was to function, but I also think that it just may not have been jiggling, partially because the position that she was in when she was shaking it, maybe. But also, I think with the BBLs, I do think that sometimes, like, depending on how it's off, is a bit maybe stiff and not so much jiggle with it. But when she was performing in her living room or somebody's living room, there was some jiggling and shaking, but maybe I guess it ain't jiggling and shaking in all the right places it's supposed to be. I don't know. But before I go, I do want to speak on, I guess, one more thing, and that's just kind of like letting you know how I found out about Saweetie. You know, the first Saweetie song that I heard was My Type. And I was like, okay, all right. And I did recognize that it sounded similar to like that Petey Pablo song. Freak a Leak, I think it's called. So I'm like, okay, it sounds familiar. Okay, all right. And catchy, all right. And I saw the music video and I was like, okay, all right. Let's see what she up to. Let's, keep tabs on her. All right. And I'll say, like, in the My Type music video, she did seem to have stage presence and seemed to perform well. And really, I think she needs to bring the My Type Saweetie to her stage and her live performances. That's what we need. I think that will be the secret ingredient that Saweetie needs. But I think I'm going on for long enough. I don't want to drag this out for too long. But I just wanted to come through and give my thoughts and opinions about all this situation here, and let you know what I think about it, and get your thoughts and opinions about this. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.